We celebrate Thanksgiving today in the country. Everyone is taking time to spend it with family. Some are deer hunting, some are traveling, and soon I will be headed home to be with family as well. In today's readings, I'd like to draw our attention to the book of Daniel. One of the most famous stories in Old Testament is Daniel's faith. And King Darius, who was put to the test by some of his advisors who were trying to find a way to get rid of Daniel because he was quite the supervisor, or what did it say? He was quite the leader for Darius, and no one was like him. He had a spirit about him, and he outshone everyone. He outshone the supervisors and satraps because he had an extraordinary spirit about him, and the king loved him. And so, kind of like how the Pharisees and the scribes and the Sadducees found ways, the Jewish leaders, the high priests, to condemn Jesus, so too is this royal group of advisors trying to trap Daniel. And so what they do is they come up with a plan, and they go to the king and they kind of talk him into a decree for the entire kingdom to basically for 30 days everyone's supposed to give tribute to the king, whether it's their prayers or offerings or whatnot. Sometimes they treated kings in a divine way too, but they knew Daniel prayed every day in the upper room 3 times, and he prayed to his God, which was the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And so they convinced and almost manipulated King Darius to put out this decree, and it says, all the supervisors of the kingdom, the prefects, satraps, nobles, and governors agreed that the following prohibition ought to be put in force by royal decree. No one is to address any petition to God or man for 30 days except to you, king. Otherwise he shall be cast into the den of lions. So the king, whether he was old or foolish or not knowing what they were doing, agreed to this. And it wound up setting the trap and the stage for them to bring charges against Daniel. And so they do that. I don't know if it was the next day, but soon they come before King Darius and say, they said, and even after Daniel heard about the law, he still went up to the upper chamber 3 times, and he had a good relationship with King Darius. And the men rushed in and found Daniel praying and pleading before God, just as I just got done with Mass. And they reminded the king, they went from Daniel, then went to the king and reminded him and said, did you not decree, O king, that no one is to address a petition to pray to God or man for 30 days except to you, O king? Otherwise he shall be cast into the den of lions. And the king answered them, the decree is absolute, irrevocable, under the Median and Persian law. So Iran is modern day Iran. To this they replied, Daniel, the Jewish exile, has paid no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you issued. 3 times a day he offers his prayer. The king was deeply grieved at this news, and he made up his mind to save Daniel. He worked till sunset to rescue him. So the men were arguing to the king, King, keep in mind, they said, that under the law, every royal prohibition or decree is irrevocable. So he eventually gave in. Much to his displeasure, much to his pain and suffering, he adored Daniel. He was blameless. He was a prophet of prophets during the exile. There's a reason why Daniel's a very common name, and it's because of the book of Daniel and the stories of Daniel. Some of them are just amazing. But the king wound up having to, because his decree was irrevocable, and basically it was written in stone, he agreed. King Darius also knew that the God of Daniel is a Jewish exile, but was was powerful. He recognized Daniel's place in his court, and he trusted. He trusted that everything's going to be okay. And he was sick with anxiety. He couldn't eat. He dismissed dinner, and he even told the entertainers to go away. But the king, grieved by everything, ordered that Daniel be cast into the lion's den. He said to Daniel so King Darius said to Daniel before he left, he says, "May your God whom you serve so constantly save you." To forestall any tampering, the king sealed with his own ring the rings of the lords of the stone that had been brought to the block, and so that no one could open it. The king returned to his palace, and he couldn't even sleep. He rose early in the morning and went to the lion's den. And he whispered down into the lion's den, "O Daniel, servant of the living God, has the God whom you serve so constantly been able to save you?" And Daniel says, "O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel and closed the lions' mouths so that they have not hurt me. For I have been found innocent before him. Neither to you have I done any harm, O king." This gave the king great joy, as it says. And at his order, Daniel was removed from the den. So he threw him in the den and trusted that he wouldn't get hurt. Doesn't get hurt. His decree was fulfilled. Then he had him removed, and then justice came. The king ordered the men who accused Daniel, conspiring against him to create this whole situation. The king realized the ruse, and so he ordered those men, along with their families. Now that's kind of hard to stomach, but wives and children were cast into the lion's den. Before they even reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all their bones. And then King Darius wrote, "All peace to you. I decree that throughout my royal domain, the God of Daniel is to be revered and feared." And so Daniel fared well. It's such a cool story. And it reminds us to have faith, obviously. Profound, deep faith that, sometimes there's injustice. People are sent to prison for a long time. They didn't do anything wrong. It breaks my heart when people get out of prison after 30, 40 years and they were found innocent because of some DNA sample that was found, or something in the court was amiss, or there was prejudice against the victim, and decades and decades. What happened at Shawshank Redemption actually it happens more often than people realize. The justice system has a lot of flaws in it. Well, this is 2,500 years ago, and those things still happen back then. It's a powerful story of a prophet that during the Babylonian exile, when with the Chaldeans, the Jewish exiles were in modern-day Iran, Persia, that whole area. Iraq, Iran was sort of kind of mixed. Babylonian times mixed with Persia. There was a lot of this kind of, that's the setting. And so it's a powerful story of faith and to trust, and especially when there's injustice, to pray to God because he knows the truth. And if you have been unjustly condemned, if something terrible happened to you and you were innocent but found guilty for whatever reason, maybe in someone's judgment or mind, maybe your name, maybe there was a scandal and you had fined or found guilty for this or that, just know that God sees all. He knows all. And the truth is, he will take care of you. And through that suffering, he will bring through you the resurrection, restoring your name, restoring your character, and so forth. And so today, Daniel is thrown into the lion's den, and most people don't realize the circumstances. And it was evil men trying to get rid of him, just like they try to get rid of Jesus. They conspired, and the evil men in the end were the ones who were thrown into the lion's den. So God bless. Give thanks today for the little things and the big things, and pray to our Lord with a spirit of gratitude. God bless. I'll see you at Mass.